Hi. I've been cackling for the last like 5 minutes. I have a funny story. How's it go? But before I get to that, how's it going? How's it going? How's life? How's the universe? How's everything? Why are my headphones so loud? I'm gonna experiment with the music. Okay? Since it's experimental day, as you'll be able to know in like very soon. Let me also experiment with that. Oh my god. So, no. First of all, how's it going? How's your day been? How's your summer like? Summer days like? Honestly, because I'm stalling because I don't even know how to start explaining. Hey, it's going well. My mini pizzas, despite looking like they were made blindfolded, taste good, so everything is good. Mini pizza. That sounds great. Now I want pizza. You can't just... Man, I should get pizza at some point. Even for, like, any reason in particular. I need an excuse. I really do. Let me push my fan closer to me so I don't freaking die. Actually, I have an idea. I should put I have a little trash can that's literally empty, and I might just flip it around and use it as a stool to, like, prop my... Will this work? It might just fall. What am I doing? It's gonna fall. This is not a good idea. This is not a good idea. Dear God, what am I doing? This is not a good idea. This is gonna fall as soon as I let go. Yeah, let's maybe not do that. Let's maybe not do that. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea. It's not a good idea. Now let me actually, tell the story that I was gonna tell. I've, gotten distracted twice. There we go. That'll settle for that. So, I was experimenting a few things. I was doing a couple of things, okay? So I was testing random stuff out on my computer. I was just like, I'm just gonna mess around with stuff, including, mirroring my phone. I was, checking different, games opening, different settings on OBS. I was doing a bunch of different things. I was, even some stuff that isn't directly OBS related. I was doing a couple of stuff. I was just experimenting, I guess. I was having fun. I was figuring some stuff out. I was trying to see what worked, what didn't. Doing a bunch of expecting for, Twitch inspections and, all this sort of stuff. Seeing what my random ideas that popped into my head were working on or not. And then I glanced at the corner of my screen. And it was 6:56. I was like, oh shit. So I realized it was almost time, 4 minutes before now, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna randomly throw in titles and stuff, and so now I'm here with the power of improvisation by my side. So this might be the weirdest, less planned thing in the world. This could become anything. Because I was distracted by other stuff. I was doing other stuff, and then suddenly I realized I'm supposed to be streaming in 4 minutes. This hasn't happened before. This hasn't happened before. Usually I pay good enough attention to the time where I know what I'm doing, and if I haven't thought of an idea of what exactly I'm gonna do on that day, at around 6:30 is the moment where I start panicking, and I'm like, inspiration has to strike somewhere, and I start scrolling through everything in my computer, being like, okay, what should I do today? I did not have the self-awareness to turn slightly to the corner of my screen and look at the time, apparently. I don't know what... I don't know how this happened, or why this happened, or anything in general, but this is the weirdest encounter ever. So, yes. I don't know. I was super distracted, and Mushroom reporting for duty. Hello, Shrum. We could do the dating thing since we were talking about it yesterday. What dating thing? We were talking about dating sims yesterday, and I remember that very visibly. We could honestly just talk, and I'd be okay with that. And if inspiration strikes for anything else, I would also not be down. Honestly, this is the most improvised stream I've ever done, which says something, because a lot of the things I do are super improvised. Why am I like this? Remember how yesterday I was talking about maybe I should get like a whiteboard with like the days of the week and plan stuff out? Maybe I should do that, because maybe stuff like this wouldn't happen. Or like stuff like this would happen where I would realize, damn, 4 minutes. But I would at least have a plan before. Ah! Oh, life is absolutely beautiful. I know, we could do our life. That's always fun, and you still haven't at the birthday. You know what I want to do our life, but you know what I'm worried about is you know how in the birthday stream, when I did our life, it was like, my OBS was crying for, like, release. It was like, I kept talking about how my FPS kept dropping to 1 million. So the day after that, I was like, I'm gonna see if it's just that, or if it's like, whatever. So I pulled it up again, and like I did like test stream for like not like actually live, but just like it wouldn't show up for anyone, just for me. And I tested it again, and it happened again. So likelihood of me pulling up our life and OBS screaming for release is likely, because I need to figure out what's causing that. Or maybe we get really lucky, who knows. That's an option. Let's pile up options and see. And I think that's our riskiest, quote unquote. Like, the worst thing that can happen is the FPS drops a bunch. But the worst thing that can happen is the FPS drops a bunch, and I could always just force quit it. Not the stream, the app. We could always try. I mean, yes, we could. Why not? Risk it. It makes things fun. Yes. Let's just do the riskiest stream ever. That sounds very responsible of me. Let's see how good this goes. Let's pull this up. Let's see what happens. In the meantime, I can keep updating you in the dating sims I'm playing on my phone. I downloaded another game on my phone because it was on my recommended, and I haven't started it yet either. That's a thing. But, if this crashes and burns, we tried, okay? Okay. Let's see. No, that's the wrong thing that I'm supposed to. Yeah, properties. Life. Okay. Okay, it's tiny right now. It's tiny right now. There we go. There we go. There we go. There it is. Now look at how pretty it looks now. Here's the thing. The last time I tested it. So let me give you an idea of what might happen. Just so you're ready. Here's the context. Let me change the stream information just in case this actually works, okay? But, let me context you, okay? On what might actually happen. just in case it all crashes and burns. Let me tell you. So, on the, like, config screen and the main menu, everything's fine. Okay, you can see my little PN YouTuber working at a perfect speed. I can tell you that the FPS is at the max level that I have it at. Everything's working fine. And then I load the file, and it gets to the actual game, and then it decides that, no. It decides that, yeah, no thank you. So, what might happen is that right now everything's gonna go great, and then I'm gonna load up the game, it's gonna pull up the game screen, and then the drop in quality is gonna be intense. And then the drop in FPS is gonna go crazy. Okay? Are we... So, do we have the context? Do we have the do you know what you're getting into now? Because this was the last time I tested it. We might get really lucky. But, yes, let's hope for the best. So, that's the context. I'm just warming you up just in case that is what ends up happening. So, this is the moment of truth. Right now, everything's fine. In fact, I'm gonna take a before and after picture. Let me take a picture of, like, this. Just in case it's really interesting. Okay, there we go. And the drop frames. Okay, there we go. So, I pressed. So far, everything's good, right? We're in a still menu. Everything's fine, right? And it's starting to go down. Now we were at max FPS, which is 30 FPS for me. We are now currently at 15 FPS, 1588 FPS. If you're wondering precisely. If you're wondering precisely what the average time to render a frame is, it's 66.6 milliseconds right now. And about 4.5% of frames are being missed due to rendering lag. So, how's it looking from your point of view? Because I'm just telling you a bunch of numbers. And I can get an idea based on that. So now we're at 12 FPS. We're fluctuating between 12 and 15 FPS. It varies from time to time. Now about 5.6% of the frames are being missed due to rendering lag. Welcome to my world. It looks a little jumpy, but not that bad. Okay. I'm gonna pull it up on my phone as well, because I'm curious. I'm gonna see how bad this is. We're at 8 FPS right now, 9 FPS right now. 10 FPS, 9 FPS. We're at 938 right now. 968, 14. We just scaled up to 14, 12. Is this tolerable? How tolerable is this experience? It's a bit okay, I pulled it up on my phone. It's a bit jumpy. It's a bit slow. It's struggling there, but also the fact that the frames missed due to rendering lag is starting to slightly climb as time goes on. Remember how we were at 5% before? It's at about an 8% now. It's at 8.2%. We were at 5% before. Now we're at 8.3%, 8.4%. That's not good. Yeah. Welcome to my existence. This is, if you're wondering what my experimentation looks like, it looks like this. It looks like pulling up stuff and randomly changing settings until things happen. I'm a try for a little bit. I like bubble baths at home. They're a lot of fun. If you remember where we left off, we were talking about... we were walking down the beach. We had a little moment before. I was watching back because I was seeing how bad it was in the last stream, just in case. We're at 9.7 now, if you're wondering. At about 11 FPS. Oh my goodness, encoding overload! I wish I could show you what I'm seeing. That doesn't sound good, no. No, it doesn't. I wish I could show you what I was seeing. It's so... I wish I could graph this. Actually, wait, let me pull up Twitch Inspector, because I think I can graph that. Wait. This is important stuff. Because I think it graphs it. And I'm very interested in seeing a graph of this. In the meantime, while this loads, I'm gonna keep going as if nothing's wrong. As if the frames missed didn't go up to 11.6%. This is, you know that this is fine, dog? That's me right now. Just... me too, bubble baths are luxurious. You'd never heard Lizzie use that word before. Luxurious. It's a very pretty word. Do you have words that you like to say? Because I like never... Because I don't know why, but nevertheless is a very fun word for me to say. I don't know what it is about it, but it's fun to say. For me. I don't know why. Okay, Twitch Inspector is pulled up. For some reason, this thing says it's stable. I don't know what you consider stable. Oh my goodness. The bitrate is so funny. How the hell is this at stable? Spelunky's a funny word. Spelunky is a funny word as well. How is this at stable? How is this stable? I'm looking at a bunch of red numbers. If it says it's stable, then it must be. If we ignore the issue, everything's fine. Mummy loves to have bubbles in her bath. She'll turn the lights off and have candles. I'm gonna do that next time. Hey, when's your mom coming to pick you up anyway? Not for a while. She's busy. What about your dad? How come you never talk about him? Nobody does. Don't you know you're not supposed to ask something like that? Why would somebody want to talk about something they never talk about? Point? Yeah, I guess. Yeah, true. I just had a good idea. What's your good idea? Tell me all about it while I keep ignoring the issue. We're at 15% right now. I'll keep narrating it. Just in case you're curious. Cause this is like so you get an idea of what's happening, okay? You keep your eyes on the ground, watching your toes get swallowed by waves. Even if Shiloh never seemed upset when this topic came up, it made you feel awkward just for having both of your moms. It's okay. I'm like Lizzie and Ace. I don't have a dad, but I don't have two moms. I just have one. She's really great. I'm gonna eat ice cream and bath later because that's what mentally stable people do. That sounds awesome, actually. That honestly sounds great. I'm not even kidding. That sounds awesome. We're at 16.2% right now. We're slowly climbing. If it gets to 90, we stop. But it's a while. Sorry, I only have one now, too. My mom isn't here. She's back home. It's just my dad with me. I never had a dad or anything, so I don't feel bad. It's really sad that your mom is gone. Cove nodded. You joked about Shiloh's mom getting together with Cove's dad. Don't do that! That's kind of insensitive. Even if they're all different, our parents are good in their own way. You didn't say anything. Yeah. I don't feel good about any of these options. So, I'm just gonna... Yeah. You couldn't come up with something you thought would make the conversation any less awkward, so you kept quiet. It was safer that way. The silence broke with a splash as Lizzie kicked in your direction. Cold water and soaped sand splattered against your legs. By the way, as I keep reminding you of the percentage, which I won't do as often to not break off the gameplay, but if it gets to a point where the tolerance level of watching this is too awful, let me know. Literally, if it's terrible, if it's literally awful, let me know. Lizzie giggled, foot still outstretched from the kick. Everyone fades away so slowly. Cove joined in, striking the incoming waves to make a splash of his own. Shiloh scurried out of Cove's spray zone with a grin. I don't know how to read. As always. You made a run for it, you retaliated. Retaliate! More fun. You used your foot to smack the water pulling around you, sending an arc of sea foam flying back onto your sister. You laughed as she spluttered, some of the salty seawater having landed in her mouth. She spat it out. Yuck! Lizzie chased you, intent on revenge. You dashed up and down the coast, taking in turns to be the predator and prey, as well as joining forces to take down Shiloh Cove. Alliances were silently forged and wordlessly broken. Everything was fair game in war. Ah! Shiloh's brief exclamation was drowned out by the biggest splash yet, caused by him falling face first onto the ground. That would have been bad enough without the wave that followed, cascading over his prone body. Shiloh sat up, shaking his head like a dog coming in from the rain. As you all hurried over to check on him, his hair was plastered to his head and his soaked clothes clung. Wait! Oh my god! Wait! What magic is this? Everybody, I have a very important announcement. We're back at max FPS. And the percentage of frames missed is going down miraculously. I have not touched anything. The stars have aligned. What the fuck? It's the great Alexander that does magic. Yeah, apparently. How? I'm not complaining. I haven't touched a thing. And yet, it just kind of did it on its own. Let's just continue as we were. If there was any part of him that was still dry, you couldn't see it. That was crazy. Are you okay? Oh, we're back to sinking into the depths of hell. But we're fluctuating between good numbers, though. I have no idea how this is happening. It's like it's going to terrible, and then going to okay-ish, and then back to terrible, and then perfect, and then terrible again. So we're just gonna ignore the issue and pray for the best. It's crazy. Are you okay? Yeah, my foot got stuck and I fell over. Way to go, Shiloh, you dumbo. Let me, is the voice volume all the way up? No. Let me pull it super up. It might be a shock the next time, but it's very low, so. You offered him to help up, you let him get up yourself, help. Shiloh didn't take your outstretched hand. After a moment, you dropped it. Awkward. Lizzie was too busy snickering to notice and held her hand out to Shiloh, too. He reached over and took it. Okay, favoritism. Slowly, he started to pull himself from the ground. Well, I don't mind that much, but still. Then he slipped on the slick sand, dragging Kim and Lizzie down just in time for another wave to hit. The water rolled over them. Psst.
Sorry.
Aw. What were the odds of that happening twice in a row? You thought they must be low, but there's no way Shiloh would do something like that on purpose and pretend it was an accident. Especially not to Lizzie. Even if your relationship with Shiloh felt unclear, he did at least like her a lot. Lizzie was his favorite, right? Smiling boldly, Lizzie extracted herself from the ground and wiped a streak of sand from her cheek. She didn't intend to let this embarrass her. Shiloh got up as well, this time without incident. He still looked like a drowned puppy, but that didn't stop Cove laughing at the two of them. With that, it was time to call it a day. The four of you made the journey back home, leaving a trail of wet footsteps and sand in your wake. Damp clothes may have weighted down some of the group, but your spirits were high. Your arms swung side to side as a cool breeze flowed past. Honestly, going around summer in damp clothing is not the worst thing in the world. In fact, I think that's one of the best things that could happen to you. I don't see the negative here. Your moms were outside, chatting to Cove's dad. We're back. Your mom's faces fell as he took in the state you were all in, ranging from messy to soaked.
No.
Elizabeth, is that all you have to say for yourself? You brought half of the beach back with you. They certainly did. What's Marigold going to do when she comes to get Shiloh? Is that how you want him to be for the long drive home? Cold and filthy? Lizzie's expression turned sulky over the scolding. Being the oldest could be fun, but it also meant she was the first to get in trouble when something went wrong. Speaking about this, I've already, jokingly, I don't mean in a serious sense, but I've already had my moments where I've jokingly been told that if anything happens, it's my fault. Because I'm the quote-unquote responsible adult being left behind in the situation. So, yes, mood. But it's been all jokingly for me, so. So it's all fine. But, yeah. Mr. Holden, on the other hand, chuckled as he ruffled Cove's matted hair. You've been out making memories, Bucko? I'm glad you had a good time with your friends. Cove used his slightly moist cast arm to push his doubt off. Mr. Holden's eyes widened when he noticed even that had gotten wet. Now he was worried too. I think they could have found a less risky way to spend time and had just as much fun. How is this risky? I think I made the same comment the first time I played this game, but how is this risky? They're just playing in the beach. Like they're just playing in the beach. How is this risky? So, like, I buried someone in the sand the last time I went to the beach. Like, that was fun and stuff. Like, how, and also, I've done the type of stuff where, you know, when there's very large waves, and you still go to the very large waves, because it's fun to get all thrown around by the waves. Done that as well, and it's fun. I mean, a cast getting wet is kind of risky. Yes, but I mean in general. Because even before, because they were worried before noticing that, the moms were worried before even noticing that the cast was wet. That might be right. Kids, what can you do? Come on, Cove, let's go get you cleaned up and dried off. We wouldn't want that cast to have to be reset. Cove wouldn't step the thought.
Okay.
Attaboy. Attaboy, or whatever. Words, language, stuff. Mr. Holden casually bent down and plucked Cove off the ground, ultimately holding Cove against his chest. Sand was already transferring from Cove onto him, but that didn't seem to bother Mr. Holden. Cove protested being carried, but only got a reassuring pat on the back for his trouble.
Take care.
Good night, Cove. Thank you for the talk, Cliff. Night, Pixel family, and Shiloh too. Resigned to his fate, Cove twisted his body in his dad's embrace in order to turn around and wave goodbye. Smiling, you returned a tiny wave of your own.
Oh, fine.
Well, we'd better do what we can to fix you guys up too. Come on, everybody inside. I want you to march straight to the downstairs bathroom. Yes, Mom. Okay, Lizzie's mom. Don't worry about stopping to wipe your feet on the mat this time. That won't do much good tonight. Sitting on an old beach towel your mommy had found, you waited in the hall. Until you were less sandy, you weren't allowed to go to your room or walk around the house. But you did get to eat a sandwich for dinner there. It felt like an indoor picnic. It had been decided that Shiloh would wash first and borrow some of your clothes. He was already finished and packed away in his mom's car. Mrs. Fields had come to collect him a little while ago. But it was a bit of a funny experience seeing him without that hat on for once. Lizzie, being much more soaked than you, got to go in the tub next. It wasn't a bubble bath as she had hoped. This was a no fun allowed cleanup session. At least that's what she claimed. Not much longer and it would be your turn. When the bath was done, you'd have to go right to bed. After a day like this, though, you were glad there weren't going to be any further events. Drifting off to sleep sounded like a great idea. And there we go. We did a long day. It's time for barbecue now. Then we go to Sandcastle, run away, fireflies, and sleep over. I don't know if we'll get through everything. But, let's just keep going, you know? We might as well continue. Plus, I am in no rush to rush this game. So, I'm in no rush to rush this replay. So, I don't mind it taking forever. And maybe if it takes a very long time, maybe it'll be enough time for me to buy the Step 3 DLC in the meantime. Who knows? If it takes long enough time, maybe we'll get Step 3 and I'll already have the DLC for it as well. You've been brought along to the big park today, which did an excellent job of living up to its title. The park near your house, with its lonely playground equipment, wasn't even a quarter of the size of the expanse of grass and trees that lay before you now. As it was in the next town over and too far for you to walk to by yourself, you didn't get to visit it much, and so you soaked up the environment. I don't know how to read. For playing as many visual novels as I do, I always mess up the words when I'm reading. So, I don't know how much good it's done me, but it's fine. It's fine. Another difference between this park and the one in your neighborhood was that this one had visitors other than you, Lizzie, Shiloh, and Cove. Today was the busiest you'd ever seen it, thanks to a community get-together luring people in from all over the local area with the promise of barbecue and fireworks. Your family and Cove's were just two of many. What seemed like dozens of cars were parked up already when you had arrived. You saw Cove hesitate as he took in the growing aggle of strangers. By your mommy, Lizzie bounced on the balls of her feet, barely containing her excitement. The crowd made you nervous. You couldn't wait for the fireworks. You looked forward to meeting more kids. You'd rather have stayed home. Your tummy was already rumbling for the food to come. Even if it was bigger, this perk wasn't as special as the one back home. Fireworks excitement. Sure. It was gonna be so cool. Maya had told you that the people running the community event weren't charging for it, but she wanted them to get something in return. Talking about firework excitement, here's the thing with my relationship with me and fireworks, quote unquote. When you're willing to watch them, it's all good. But the moment where it's at night and it's like near where you are and it's just a random burst of fireworks, then it's no longer fun. But willingly watching fireworks is fun. Which is why you'd not been allowed to touch the beautifully iced cupcakes she had carried on her lap during the drive over. It was a special treat for them. Every time the car made a turn, she'd clutch the box tight enough for her knuckles to strain, much to everyone else's amusement. Mr. Holden's contribution to the party, a huge pack of juice boxes, was tucked under his arm after being retrieved from the car's trunk. You bet there had been no such dramatics around the cargo getting here in one piece, but the boxes did lack the beautiful shimmer of Mommy's treasured cupcakes.
Okey-dokey.
Cute. Everyone all set? Should be. Cove, did you put sunscreen on before we left? Yeah, I always do. You don't have to tell me. Mr. Holden deflated. His attempt at caring for his son rebuffed, but he triumphed with a smile. I don't want you getting burnt or dehydrated either. It'll be a busy day. Let me, again, raise the volume. I don't feel like it's loud enough. We're just gonna, yeah, screw it.
Well,
Don't think there's gonna be any risk of that second part. In fact, I think I have a way that I can make it. Let me just lower this slightly. Just tiniest bit. And then that way the voice lines will also shine through. Well, you should also be able to listen to the beautifulness of the lo-fi. There we go. We should be good. Mom nodded at the tables up ahead, laden with all kinds of food and drink. She was right. There was plenty to go around. The parents headed over, with you, Lizzie, and Cove trailing after them. A bunch of grown-ups were clustered around there, chatting, but you were more intrigued by what was on the tables. It's never loud enough. We love getting yelled at by fictional characters. Indeed. Some of it was familiar. Chilled meat, sliced vegetables, big bags of chips, but there was a lot that you didn't recognize. Your moms had said that you weren't to touch the food until they said it was time to eat. You didn't see the harm in taking just a little. You wanted to listen to the rules. You didn't want to risk getting caught. It'd be bad if you got in trouble before the event had even started. You saw that Mummy and Mr. Holden had deposited the food and drink they'd brought. Mommy gave the cupcakes one final worried look before turning to you with a smile. Since that's the topic at hand, how about we freshen up with something to drink? Yeah! That'd be great. Along with the ones out, there was a giant ice cooler on the ground, stuffed full of cans of soda, boxes of juice and milk, as well as bottles of water. Your drink was soda, water, juice, milk, juice. You slipped the sweet juice through the straw until all too soon you were sucking up on only air. Juice boxes or Capri Suns count as well, because they're not boxes, but they have little straws. Sucking on the straws after there's no juice left is still incredibly enjoyable. For some reason, I stayed just a while just randomly inflating and deflating the little juice box or little pouch in Capri Sun's case. I don't know why I find it so enjoyable, but I just stay there a while after I'm done just... Your little group took a break while everyone quenched their thirst. Mr. Holden smacked his lips, pantomiming enjoyment. That hit the spot, but you kids should go have fun. You could take your stuff with you and join the other kids playing games. Just don't go too far from the tables. We'll be keeping an eye out, so don't even think about sneaking off. We're not going to the other parts of the park today. Lizzie huffed at their comments. They did sound directed at her, but she scanned the surroundings, nodding her head towards a group of kids like a general directing their battalion. She pointed that way. Oh no! I just got a new chat room notification from Mystic Messenger. I'm gonna cry. Can I open it and pause it and maybe I can get away with it? I'm gonna cry! This game has me on a leash. And I'm not entirely mad about it. But, like... I've been setting alarms for my Apple Watch at night so I'm awake by the time the chat room's open. Cause the pain in my heart. I don't know if it's gonna let me get away with it now, but I've tried something. I'll update, but I don't know. Ah! I have another Capri Sun. I totally forgot about that. I'm gonna go get it. Go get that Capri Sun and make me really, really freaking jealous. Capri Suns are so good. Multivitamin Capri Suns specifically. I say that always when we talk about Capri Suns, but...
Come on!
That's better. Now that's the volume I wanted at. That's way better. Let's go over there. Cove's mouth was downturned as he looked around the parents and the other adults to the new kids, clearly not favoring either option. But ultimately, he hunched his shoulders and tagged along after Lizzie. You had to play with the other kids too. You stuck with your parents. Kids, play, fun, enjoyment. He followed after Lizzie and Cove, who were waiting for you on the outskirts of the group of parents. Hurry up! You picked up the pace, moving into a jog, but when Lizzie pelted away at full speed, you and Cove had no choice but to break out into a run. The other kids were far out in the field. Still, at your speed, it wasn't long until you'd reach them. As you approached, they turned around to greet the newcomers.
Hi.
I'm Lizzie. That's my little sibling Ace, the one with the Castus, Cove. You offered a smile. Cove simply lifted a hand in greeting. There was a chorus of hellos and names from the other kids. One of the kids looked to be about Lizzie's age or older. A couple seemed to be the same age as you and Cove, and there was one tiny little thing with his arm. And there was one tiny little thing with his arms folded over his chest. There we go. What are you up to? The first kid, a boy with curly black hair and neon green sneakers, who'd introduced himself as Hayden, shrugged as he looked to the others. Not much. The second kid to pipe up, Lisa, had half her face obscured behind the huge glasses she wore. We haven't decided yet. She glanced wistfully over her shoulder. Following her gaze, you saw the spray of water first, and heard the shriek as someone got splashed in the face before you spotted the person shooting them. Some people are playing with water guns, but there aren't any left. The smallest kid, Noah, grumbled at that. You guessed that was why he was sulking. Spencer, who hadn't said much, patted his shoulder. So that's out. A new kid raced over. With a glint in her eye and her braids streaming behind her, you spotted the plastic orange pistol in her hand too late, when the trigger had already been pressed. Considering I am boiling in this room, this sounds like absolute heaven. I want to have a water gun fight right now as well. I want to have a water gun fight. Like right now. Right this second, please. Ack! Rude! Hey! Random exclamation of distress! Lizzie, who'd been caught first, was fuming. Cove wiped the water from his face, then you rubbed at your ear, trying to dislodge the water that had pooled there. If this actually happened, my ears get a lot of wax in them. So when I get water in my ears, sometimes they'll clog. And then I have to put drops in my ears for about 4 to 5 days for them to unclog. So this wouldn't be funny anymore if this happened. This would no longer be funny if this happened. Because I wouldn't be able to dislodge the water. I wouldn't be able to hear very well from that ear for the rest of the day. And I just hit my bone. That hurt. I just hit my elbow with my chair and my whole arm, shivered. Ow. Ow. I have, a cramp on my hand now. Ow. That hurt. Ow. I'm, shaking my hand to try to get it to go away. Ow. Don't spray people. You laughed. Watch how he has a cast. You pushed her away. Let's just laugh. It was pretty funny. And you were unhurt by the water. I wouldn't be unhurt IRL. But in most cases. Maybe I would be fine. It depends on my luck that day, I guess. And you were unhurt by the water trickling down your neck. The girl simply darted off to find more victims, unaffected by your reaction. She doesn't mean anything by it. Lizzie tutted, flicking her hair out of her face. The girl not meaning anything by it didn't change the fact that she'd been sprayed. Cove looked similarly unimpressed. Lisa's face lit up as she had an idea. Hey, we should catch her. She won't be able to spray people if she's running away from everybody. Yeah! Cove nodded as the other kids murmured their interest, or lack of it, in the game. Let's do it. That doesn't sound like a good idea to me. Okay, you nodded along. No thanks. You shook your head. Let's do it! You joined the group of kids and tearing off after the girl with the pistol. Spotting you all over her shoulder, she laughed and shot her pistol in the air. Only a couple of drops squeezed out. She swerved, causing discord within your team as someone stood on your foot and you collided with Cove's shoulder. Sorry. Cove shot you a smile that gave you a feeling of camaraderie. It's okay. You were closing in on the girl, but you weren't alone. Lizzie's face was set on with intent. With the two older kids were hot on her heels too. You outrun them easily, you outrun them with effort. You weren't as fast as them because they were speedy. You weren't as fast as them because you just weren't fast. You moved to the side to let them pass. You didn't want to win this race. I'm not fast. I don't think I'm super slow, but I'm not that fast, I guess. But I'll pick that they were too fast. And that'll make me feel a little better. I'm not the most athletic person in the world. I don't know if you could pick that up. I don't know if that's incredibly obvious. You pushed yourself, willing your legs to move just that bit faster. You were close, just not close enough. Lisa lunged and tackled her friend to the ground. Got her! Panting, she punched the air in triumph, then pushed her glasses back up the bridge of her nose. The girl who had been caught giggled as she got to her feet, brushing strands of grass from her knees. Smiling, Cove came to a stop by your side. Lizzie whipped with delight, clapping her hands. The boy with the bright sneakers grinned. You're it now. Catch us if you can. Yeah! I'll do it. You won't get away from me. With that, you all dispersed, squealing and laughing as you tried to evade capture. The sour mood from earlier had evaporated entirely, replaced by a light and playful atmosphere. Several rounds later, when most of the kids had taken at least one turn as it, the scent of smoke wafted up to your nose. Caught by surprise, you looked up and found that the brilliant blue of the sky had turned to orange as the sun sunk down on the horizon. With all the excitement, you'd lost track of time completely. Looking over, you saw people standing over the grills and poking them to life. It was nearly time to eat. We should get over there. I'm so hungry. Our parents sat at different spots. Yeah. Bye. It was cool playing.
Yep.
Bye. You waved goodbye to the other group of kids before hurrying over to your parents with Lizzie and Cove. A tickle unfurled in your throat, growing more persistent as you came closer to the source of the smoke. As the three of you approached the tables, your parents spotted you and came to join you halfway. You tried to greet them, but another cough obstructed your words. Whew, that's quite a cough. Are you alright, sweetie? You nodded confidently. I'm fine. No, you shook your head. You nodded confidently. I'm good. Are you sure? No one needs to go up to the girls if they don't want to. Just let me know what you need. There was no response from the other two kids here. I could get it myself, Mommy. I could do it. You marched over to the girls. Can you get it for me? Please, could you get it for me? You hung your head and moving no closer to the smoking girls. I can do it. Alright, but tell me if it gets too much for you.
So,
The main thing being served is kebabs. You can have whatever you'd like on it. I think this is one of the opportunities where we get to press all the options. The main thing is being served is kebabs. You can have whatever you'd like on it. There's different meats and veggies. As you approached, you found the vast array of bits and pieces ready to be skewered and served up. You chose. Yeah. Is it time to be able to press everything? Chicken, beef, shrimp, pork, onions, peppers, zucchini, potatoes, and that's everything. Would you like the kitchen sink too?
Josh.
It's great that you like so many foods, unlike me IRL, who's the most picky eater that the world has ever seen. The veggies will make you extra healthy and strong. I could never do this in real life. But that's what video games are for. Order given, you waited for your food to be ready. Lizzie headed towards you, having issued her own request. Hi again. I heard what you ordered. I'm getting a chicken kebab with all 3 colors of peppers. Noticing that Cove approached, she turned to him. What are you having?
Why?
Does it matter? I don't know. I was just asking. I'm getting beef and shrimp with all the vegetables except onions. Lizzie hummed while evaluating his response. That's okay, I guess, but chicken is definitely the better one. Then you can eat all the chicken. I'm going to. I want some of the chicken too. All of the chicken in the world? Chicken is the worst. This is a stupid argument. Chicken is the best choice. All the chicken in the world? Oh, no. Here comes Mystic Messenger again with I have a new email. This game has me on a leash. I'll answer it. It pains me. I want to. The timed stuff, man. At least I don't know if it's gonna let me do the chat room. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see what fate brings. That's dumb. You know what I mean? Lizzie peered over to the grills where the kebabs were being handed out. A growing assortment of kebabs collected in your parents' hands. They're coming over. Don't get jealous of mine when you realize you made the wrong choice, Cove. I didn't make the wrong choice. There isn't a wrong choice. We all made good choices. Same to you, Lizzie, at your side. We all made good choices. It's just what kebab somebody eats. Let's keep the peace. The person serving gave your mommy one final kebab. Then your parents moved over to rejoin you. Between them, they were carrying 6 kebabs. One for each of you, including Cove and Mr. Holden. We've got the goods. Cove's daddy's looking for a place we can sit. In the meantime, they began passing out the kebabs to their rightful owners. Lizzie smiled smugly as she received hers. These are pretty big. Be careful not to drop it. Try not to poke yourselves with the ends either. They're sharper than you might think. Hearing that, you tentatively pushed the tips of the skewer against your finger. It felt like the point of a newly sharpened pencil. This I would do. Don't touch it! It's sharp. Immediately touch. Though it didn't hurt your hand, you wouldn't want it scraping the roof of your mouth or jabbing your tongue. Mom chuckled her tongue. Clucked her, like, I'm guessing. It would have been nice if the options were a little easier to manage and less messy to eat, especially for smaller kids. There aren't even plates for everybody, so we could set the food down for a second.
True.
That's what you get for the price of free, but we can hack it, right? Here's an idea. Use napkins. Lizzie nodded her head vigorously, clutching her kebab like a trophy. Your parents led you back to the tables. It was immediately evident why Mr. Holden had been sent to scout one out. The benches had quickly filled up as people got their food. Mr. Holden was standing over a corner section near the edges of the sitting area. He beckoned your group over to join him. You clambered onto the bench, taking care not to let your kebab slip from your fingers. Coop took a seat next to you. Lizzie took the other side. Your mom passed the final enclave kebab to Mr. Holden.
Thank you.
This looks delicious. Thank you for getting us a space out here. Everyone tucked into their food. You gobbled it up eagerly, only partially obstructed by the awkwardness of eating from a skewer, which is super awkward. Yeah, other foods that are really weird to eat. You know when you have a popsicle and you're getting to the end of the popsicle and then you have to awkwardly bite around while trying to make the popsicle not fall? It's weird, and I have to do like aerobics with my hands and like calculate everything before taking a bite, because I worry about the leftover ice cream just falling. Running around with the other kids had helped you worked up an appetite. Mr. Holden, what do you do?
Well,
I do a lot of things. A lot of things. Do you play golf? Only if you count mini golf. One look at Lizzie's stricken face confirmed that she did not. She could enjoy the occasional round at a mini golf place, especially if she had an audience to impress, but your sister took her passion very seriously. Even then, it's been years since I gave it a shot. Cove grinned at the feeble pun. Mom chuckled. You weren't sure if she was responding to the joke, Cove's annoyance, or Lizzie's offense.
Don't worry about it.
Just as well, she'd been dragging you to the green every week. I just deep throat popsicles. It's the easiest way to eat them. Queen, you would like this one donut place. I don't know whether to talk about it or not. How 18 plus can I? It's not really 18 plus. How 18 plus can I get? I mean, just by that you can imagine. By the way, just donut shop deep. By the comment and me guiding it to a donut shop and then asking that question, I think you could probably put the pieces together what it's like. But the donuts were good though. Are the donuts shaped like? Yes. Indeed they are. And it was great. Indeed they are. They are shaped like genitals. Indeed they are. I went to one last summer, and it was a lot of fun. I went to that donut shop last summer and it was a lot of fun. I once talked to Bear about it on a Discord call in which Nick begged me to stop. But if you're wondering, the donuts were very, very good. And it was very funny. Because, you know, the picture opportunities are great. And they don't only sell donuts. Just as well, she'd be dragging you to the green every week. That's because I've got dedication. You need a good driver too to get far. Mr. Holden nodded, clicking his tongue in appreciation. Cove looked from his father to your sister, lost in the conversation. Outclassed in golf and wit. Because that's not that weird. Like, you have chocolate genitals in one city in Belgium, and they have, like, small, ones, life-size ones, and bigger ones, and I really want to buy one, but I didn't get the chance. The place that I'm talking about also has little chocolates. In summer, they sell, like, popsicles. But, like, their main thing is the donuts. They're like donuts with, like, customizable toppings, basically. They're really good, by the way. I like donuts a lot. They're like fluffy. And I might be forgetting something else, but like that's about what I remember. Like they had the chocolates, the donuts, which is the main thing, the popsicles during summer, which I saw on their Instagram. And yes. And I think that's about it. I think I have a picture of like the seal. Oh yeah, those are the donuts, the chocolates, those are the chocolates. Yeah, and they also have like the tiny chocolates and like the life-size chocolates as well. Yeah. And from this picture I can't see anything else, so I think that's it. But yeah. I just pulled up the pictures I had. Man, those are great. So some of these are great pictures. Damn. I really want to try it. It's fun. And I mean it's chocolate or donuts or whatever you're getting, so it's tasty. Outclassed in golf and wit. I don't get it. More golf stuff. You should give real golf a try. Maybe I'll even teach you some tricks. Don't try to change my dad to be more like you. Lizzie gave Cove a dirty look at the accusation. Mommy felt the need to move the topic ahead before it got heated. Welcome to Let's Switch the Topic real fast.
Oh, nice.
That's really sweet of you, but I'm sure Mr. Holden is busy. He might not have time for another hobby. Yeah, I don't think I'm made for that. Still, the offer is appreciated.
Why?
Then tell me something you really do already. You just go away every day. I like scuba diving, though with the business, that's more work than play these days. Surfing and reading, snorkeling. Those are the things Cove's like. Wow, it's good that you. It's a good thing you live by the beach. You stayed quiet. Let's put yeah. Don't I know it? I have nightmares about moving and land. I once saw chocolate in the shape of a pee-pee, but the size of my arm, and I regret not buying it. That sounds incredible. That sounds incredible. The only, like, I describing picture-wise, I have a beautiful picture of the donut pee-pee of me deep-throating it. Yay.
No way.
That's not a good joke. The sun had been setting when you'd got your food, and by the time you'd finished, night had truly fallen. Your sticky fingers were the only remaining evidence of your meal. The kebab had been a great combination, more than the sum of its parts. The seasoning of freedom to choose every ingredient yourself was what made it something to remember. Rising from the table, Mommy held up her water bottle. Okay, now that the food is gone, you've got to wash your hands.
Okay.
Ace, Lizzie, please hold them out. Lizzie complied, coming over and cupping her hands together in front of her. Mommy splashed some water over her fingers and Lizzie rubbed them together, working off any residue. Here. Mom passed her a paper towel from her purse and Lizzie used it to dry off her hands. Your turn, Ace. You readily held your hands out to catch the water. Begrudgingly, you lifted your hands up. You didn't move. I don't need to. Let's just do it. Copying Lizzie, you washed your hands, taking care to clean every crevice between your fingers before wiping them dry. Nearby, Cove had taken his own course of action, wiping his hands on his pants and leaving a stain where his fingers had been. Mr. Holden shook his head.
Come on.
Let's clean that off, pal. He scrubbed at the fabric with a scrunched-up napkin. Dad, it's nothing that bad. When everyone was cleaned up, or as clean as they could be with the limited facilities, Mom spoke up.
Let's go.
Make one last check at the coolers and restock on drinks before the fireworks show. No time, we have to get a good spot. Everywhere's gonna be taken. How about I go ahead to save space again? You can meet up with me in the field after getting the drinks. Then I'm going with Cove's dad. I'll find the perfect place.
Okay.
Sure thing. I could use an extra pair of eyes. Mommy shook her head ruefully at Lizzie's even more enthusiastic than usual attitude.
That's fine.
Alright, me, Cliff, and Lizzie can go find a place to sit. Pam, Cove, and Ace, do you want to go get the drinks? Okay. You nodded. Okay, I'll get all the stuff we need. No one to help pick the spot. I don't want to get the drinks. You consider your options. You nodded. Let's go. As Mommy, Lizzie, and Mr. Holden headed off into the wild, open field where the fireworks were being set up, you joined Cove and Mom in returning the cooler where you'd picked up drinks earlier. Even as you approached, you suspected you wouldn't find much in it. Where it had originally been stuck to the brim, it was now half empty. The ice, which had cushioned the drinks and kept them cool, was largely melted, with only a handful of pieces floating like tiny icebergs. Slim pickings. The drinks that remained looked to be bottles of plain water, but you caught a glimpse of something more colorful in amongst them. Mom rummaged around in the cooler, excavating a couple of juice boxes from the bottom in the process.
Aha.
Ace, Cove, you could take one of those if you want. The perks of helping. You took a juice box for yourself. You took only water bottles. You took a juice box to share and a water bottle for yourself. Cove hesitated but decided to take the jukebox for himself. When you were each loaded up with your chosen drinks, plus an extra bottle or two for someone else in the group, Mom's phone started to ring. She juggled the water bottles over in the crook of her arm and looked at the caller. It's Mommy. Hold tight while I get this.
How are you?
Hey, hon. How's it going? Did you find our perfect spot already? She nodded along to the call, punctuating by ahas as Mom gave her directions. Catching her eye, she gestured towards the grassy area. We've got a place. Come on. We'd better hurry before the show starts. You and Cove jogged after your mom, who led you through the field and the separate groups of people assembled there, back to the rest of your families.
Hello.
We're here, and we'd come bearing drinks, though there wasn't much left. The three of you counted over the spare drinks. You held up the extra juice box. I bought this for someone.
How sweet.
I'm so thoughtful. You're so thoughtful, Ace. Despite Mommy replying pretty expectantly, there was just one person who made a claim to the sweet drink. Can I have it? Okay.
Thank you.
Aww! I love you too, fictional sibling in the video game. Aww. You two are a real pair. Once everyone had been equipped with a drink for the big event, you sat on the grass beside Cove and waited for the magic to begin. Most people in the park had taken a seat now, with a few stragglers silhouetted back of the tables in the distance. A few rambunctious kids were still dashing out, but their number was steadily decreasing as their parents called them over and restored order. Someone bearing a cardboard box weaved between the groups, pausing every so often. You nudged Cove and pointed. What are they doing? It looks like they're handing something out. I can't make out what it is.
What a pickle.
I hope it's not drinks. Mummy chuckled, but Lizzie and Cove were now watching the bestower of mystery goods keenly. Are they gonna come to us too? Mom softly put her hand on top of Vera's sister's shoulders, as if she feared Lizzie might bolt over to the stranger. Lizzie didn't even glance at her, eyes locked on the potential prize. I don't know.
In that case?
We'll have to wait and see. You were intrigued, even though I already know what it is. Now comes the good part, indeed. Studying the man with the box closely as he gradually meandered nearer, you could make out that he was holding out small items to most of the groups he stopped at. They seemed too short to be water bottles, but beyond that, it remained a mystery. Then the box man, my favorite character, made his way to your group. Evening, I'm handing out dessert. Any takers? There's dessert? Lizzie squealed, hopping off the ground. Now I'm gonna want ice cream again. How irresponsible of me would it be to pick up ice cream now? How irresponsible of me would it be to, like, dash over, get ice cream. Squealed, hopping off the ground. The man chuckled. Ice cream! I'm gonna take that as yes. Ice cream's on the menu. Vanilla flavored with a twist of either chocolate or strawberry syrup.
Nice.
Not for me, though. Thanks. Same, but the offer is appreciated. I want chocolate. Can I have strawberry? And a strawberry for me, too, please. Now you were gonna have to make a decision. Chocolate or strawberry? Chocolate. Reaching into the box, the man brought out the requested ice creams and tossed them out. It came packaged in a little plastic cup, complete with a wooden spoon stuck to the paper lid. Very responsible. It's like taking care of yourself. That's what responsible people do. Should I go get ice cream? I'll be like 2 seconds. Like, this room is right next to the kitchen. I'm like questioning whether I should or not. I like a tub of ice cream and I could just put it on my desk. And I just need to get a spoon. How fast could I dash? How fast could I dash? Okay, do it. Okay, pause for ice cream. I'll be like 2 seconds, probably. Pause for ice cream. This is a great opportunity. I'll be like 2 seconds, probably. It's gonna be more than 2 seconds, but I'll be really quick. Because I'm literally right next to the kitchen. This is so worth it. This is the opportunity of a lifetime. It's ice cream time. BRB. I come with ice cream! Success! I have a little, like, vanilla ice cream tub that I put little cookies in. And yes. So I'm gonna be eating off of that in the meantime. This is good. This was a great idea. It's got little cookie bits in it. Oh my god, it's so frozen. Oh my god, it's so frozen. I mean, that makes sense. It's supposed to be. Oh my god. Oh my god. So good. It was only 23 seconds. That was fast. I told you, I'm right next to the kitchen. It wasn't gonna take long. I told you. Literally, the door leading out of this room leads to the kitchen. So, as long as it doesn't bend your spoon, it's fine. Yeah, it won't. But, oh my god, it's so good. I'm gonna leave it a little bit so it melts a little bit. Which is good, so I can actually continue reading. Which I will. I'll take my occasional spoonful every so often. Oh my god. This is the greatest decision ever. It's funny, because last our live stream, I had cookies that were, like, because of my birthday. And I was eating cookies in the time, and now second stream of replaying our life, and here I am, eating ice cream. This was a great decision. I'm so responsible. It's so good. Reaching into the box, the man the requested ice cream. I already read this. It's a tradition in the making. What will we be eating next our live stream? That's the real question. Our live streams are eating now. I just snack on stuff. That sounds like a good tradition. I would not mind that at all. I can't. It's 8:15 and here I am eating ice cream and playing our life. My life is great. The condensation wet your fingers in a pleasant way. Indeed it does. This tub is very cold. And it feels great because I'm literally boiling alive in here.
Thank you.
Kids, are you gonna thank the nice man too? You mean the box man? Yes, obviously. There was a chorus of thanks. He cordially nodded and walked off to the next group. The man couldn't spend much time with each group considering how many he had to get to. You peeled back the tab that covered the ice cream and got right into your unexpected treat. Which, if it's as tasty as what I'm eating right now, then our life beginnings in mukbang. Hell yeah! Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. That's a great tradition. I've done it. I've won at life. I beat life. This is where I peak. This is where I peak. There's no beating this moment. It tasted amazing. Indeed it does. Let me tell you. It tastes amazing. Let me review this ice cream with cookies in it. It's great. Lizzie was definitely enjoying hers. Cove was too. You couldn't help thinking about how Cove had strawberry while you had chocolate. And I have vanilla with cookies that I put in it. It's the best moment. Want a bite of mine? He looked around awkwardly, but nodded nonetheless. You caught a bit of ice cream, making sure to hit the chocolate swirl to distinguish it from Cove's, and held it out to him. He nibbled at it. Do you want some of mine? Yeah. He scooped out a chunk of ice cream with his wooden spoon before holding it out to you. You took it gladly. And it was gone in one bite.
Oh.
Indeed, that's me right now. This is the sweetest thing in the world. This is so sweet. I'm just here eating ice cream by myself. I was gazing at the two of you. Her mouth was open in a smile as if she was about to say something else, but Mom tugged on her collar. Don't embarrass them. Hey, if you're sharing, I'll take some. You don't need it. We both have the same flavor.
So?
So what? You can have some. You're not taking any of mine. You shook your head no. Part of me wants this to be our thing, but part of me would feel really bad for saying no. So I'm not gonna say no. Just say no. I can't. My consciousness won't let me. Shut up. Mom will give Liz. I know, but I want to be nice. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're the best. She enthusiastically took a bite of your ice cream before then offering you a bite of hers in exchange. In the end, that kind of made it pointless. You each just ate the same chocolate ice cream out of different cups. Your mommy did like saying it was the thought that counted, though. The spirit is there. Ignoring that conundrum, Lizzie turned her attention back to her own cup of ice cream. Lizzie munched away happily, but it ultimately didn't succeed in monopolizing her attention. Eyes wide, she looked at Mommy and pulled on her pants.
Please.
I didn't get strawberry. Can I have some of yours, please? Ace, you're too nice for your own good. I just... maybe. But I would feel bad afterwards. It's giving me the option to share, and I will feel bad if I didn't take it. Okay? Plus, IRL, if someone asked, I would say yes. So,
Of course.
Sweetie. Lizzie cooed with excitement as Mommy presented her, that would be... presented her with a dollop of the ice cream and syrup mixture. Licking her lips, Lizzie lapped it up. Mommy, come on now. Lizzie has all the ice cream she needs. She simply laughed and pinched Lizzie's cheek, then dug her spoon in again and held it out to you. I just can't resist. Ace, would you like some of mine? They've got a whole cup of ice cream to eat already and had a bite of Cove's and Lizzie's. I think that's plenty. But that's not the same thing as getting a little extra from your mommy. I'm not saying no. You ate the treat being offered, much to Mom's chagrin and Mommy's delight. Cove watched the exchange silently with a blank expression. Mom, on the other hand, shook her head, a fond smile on her face. Well, you better at least give me some too. Now she wants ice cream. This is why you couldn't be a villain. Shh. One can dream, okay? I could pretend to be one. I could theater kid my way to villainy, but I would feel bad. But I couldn't act, but yeah. You know what I mean. I wouldn't mind getting a little bit of mommy, if you know what I mean. I mean, I don't blame you. Same. You could have gone on your own if you wanted ice cream.
What?
The kids have ice cream already, and you're getting some of yours to boot, and I have nothing. Now is when you decide to be firm? Laughing, Mommy fed some ice cream to your sulking mom. She could have never actually followed through with being tough. Like me, apparently.
There.
All better now? Yes. Good, how about you, Cliff? Would you like some? No, I'm still okay, but thanks for keeping me in mind. Cove, it's only fair that you got the choice, too. Cove shook his head firmly, concentrating on his own cup. Mommy smiled. Okay, as long as no one is feeling left out. Mommy was always so nice to everyone. Fireworks! Look at them fireworks! Admire them while I take another spoonful. Damn, that's good. The cookies made it so much better. This was such a good choice. I was like, before I dumped the cookies in here yesterday, I was thinking maybe it'll be weird because they're gonna get really soggy. But no, that makes it even better. They're so soft. Oh. And then the first firework cut through the sky, whistling as it ascended until it hit its crescendo with an explosion. The spark flashed as if a light. Squealing, Lizzie leapt to her feet, her forgotten ice cream tumbling to the ground, as the fireworks cackled into tiny drops of glitter in the sky. It's starting! Everyone else looked up to the sky as another firework whizzed through the air. With each explosion, Lizzie would jump into the air. The event was thrilling. It was impossible to tear your eyes from the scene. The loud noises hurt your ears. You covered them with your palms. It was kind of neat. You shrunk back, hugging your knees to your chest. It was impossible to tear your eyes from the scene. It's like fire in the air, but it somehow works. Get it? Fire works. So hilarious. Badoom! Ching. Go sat by his dad, captivated by the sky sparkles and flashes overhead. Mr. Holden watched the fireworks scene impassively. He did smile at you and even gave a thumbs up when he noticed you looking over. Mommy hopped to her feet, pulling Mom with her, pushing her into joining Lizzie and jumping up in tandem with each crack of a firework. Mommy then bent down to offer you a hand up too. You decided to quietly watch from the ground. You got up to join your family. Beckoning to Cove to join. We're including everyone in this adventure because that's what we do around here. Oh my god, it's getting nice and melty now. Oh, I just froze my teeth. It was very little bit. It wasn't that bad, but woo! Honestly, not the worst thing that can happen. I'd rather feel cold right now. And I just got like goosebumps from it. Go went to his feet, nervously tailing after you as you stood with your family. Your mom's faces light up, literally and metaphorically, as you approached. The five of you shrieked and leapt along with the fireworks in the sky, not trying to contain your joy at experiencing the sights together. The fireworks continued, some twisting like the coil of a spring as they arched into the air, others shooting straight from the ground and shattering into a million tiny specks. Every color got its spotlight in the show, from fiery reds to eerie greens and blues that could rival the ocean. The show built up to a grand finale that boomed over the park and filled every inch of the sky, the twinkling lights representing the full spectrum of the rainbow. The exhilaration that had fueled you while the fireworks were going off was sapped dry now that the show had finished. You collapsed into a giggling heap on the ground, suddenly aware of how your legs ached from your exertion. Cove tumbled down with you, his expression gleeful. Mr. Holden watched his son with an expression much happier than the one he'd worn while watching the show. Lizzie gave a final whoop of delight and shared a high five with Mom as Mommy shouted for an encore into the night. You didn't know what that meant, but you liked the way it made Mommy laugh. It made Mom laugh, not Mommy. I'm sorry, that was whoopsies. Though the sun had gone down long ago, the air on your bare arms was warm. You took in your giddy family, their spirits aired by the firework display. Their new friend and his father, who looked happy in their own quieter way, and smiled. Wait, it's been an hour and 27 minutes of not all of playing our life, but most of that playing our life, and I haven't even mentioned this. I made an impulsive decision on those days that I was gone. Okay? And which I had my iPad with me, which meant I could draw at my will at pretty much any time, okay? Can't believe I haven't mentioned this. Oh, I'm about to call myself out real hard. And it's gonna be forever on. I'm about to call myself up real hard. So maybe you know where this is going, or perhaps not. But let me prerequisite this by saying that this started because of Panic, and then it kind of faded into everything else that I liked. So to cut the story short, I drew my our life character, quote unquote, like myself basically, but in the art life style with Cove. I'm gonna keep eating ice cream while you ponder that news. So good. When I go silent, just so you know, it's probably because I have a spoonful of ice cream in my mouth. I guess I need to see it. Okay, sure. Also, if you remember how I said it started with Blooming Panic? It's because I may also have one with Zix. But we don't talk about that either. This dies here. It can survive in Discord if you are curious about it. But it dies here. That's where the topic dies. It was an impulsive decision. And I had way too much fun. I'll see all of them. Text me after stream. Because I don't think I have them on my phone. I think I have them on my iPad, so I need to transfer them to my phone to be able to send them. I'm pretty sure I don't have them on my phone. That includes any you make in the future. Are you already guessing something? Because if you're thinking what I think you're thinking, Queen, I think I considered it. Yeah, I don't have it on my phone. Damn it. Otherwise, I would have sent it now, but I don't have it on my phone. Damn. So yes, text me after stream. It was an impulsive decision, but it was fun. And trying to mimic art styles is fun. I struggled, but it was fun. And it turned out a lot better. Trying to mimic art styles is cool. I had fun with it because I was like trying to make it look in the same art style ways, and it was fun. Surprisingly. Not surprisingly, trying to match an art style is fun regardless, but I had a lot of fun with these. I don't know. I can't believe it took me so long to remember to tell that story. The Arcana art style is really hard. Okay, so you were thinking what I was thinking. Yes. It wouldn't stop me from trying. I will say that. Who knows? Who knows? You took in your getting family. Their spirits were moved by the fireworks display, and then your new friend and his father, who looked happy in their own quieter way, and smiled. This had been a pretty special night. I have a thing on how to make Arcana hair. I can send you. Hang on. Okay, good. This is information that I'll probably need for future reference. For reasons that I really don't have to get into that much, huh? This started a fun conversation now, didn't it? Well, let's do Sandcastle now. Go wasn't able to do many things that summer. When you, him, and Shiloh sat at the sat on the shoreline one bright morning, you could tell he wanted to be in water. Why can I say tongue twisters, but can't read normal frickin' sentences? Ooh, much appreciated. Ooh, this is important information. Very much appreciated. Might probably, likely, very, yes, need this in a future reference for no particular specific reason. I might need that for no reason in particular. Yeah, just, you know, good for reference and stuff, you know? Not because I'm thinking of anything in particular, not because I'm thinking of doing anything in particular related to anything I've mentioned before. Wouldn't dream of it. More impulsive decisions to make me feel good? Nah. Me? Never. ice cream in my mouth. When you, Kim, and Shiloh sat on the shoreline on one bright morning, you could tell he wanted to be in the water. But there was no way he'd be swimming anytime soon, not with his cast. The waves washed a single shell to the shore. I have a shell! From when, you know when I posted the picture of me at the beach and made our life joke? Made an our life reference? Because, yes, imagine me explaining to the person who took the pictures, like, I need a picture to post on my alt Twitter because I want to make a joke about a game I really like. I got a shell as well. I picked up a shell from the beach and it's really pretty and I have it. It was really pretty. I was like, might as well. I finished my ice cream. Well, pretty much. It's there's liquid parts at the end. It's kind of melted and I'm just kind of scooping it in like ice cream soup. Ice cream soup, my favorite. Glittering in blue. Mine's orange and fades to white, kind of. Another reminder of the places he couldn't go. From what you've heard about Cove's old life so far, in tiny pieces and fragments, you could tell that he'd do anything to be able to get the cast off. The possibilities of what he might get up to made you anxious. Ice cream soup is amazing. It is. I love it. I'm just like scooping it. And just, numb. Tastes like milkshake. It's amazing. So good. The possibilities of what he might get up to made you anxious. You thought about how his summer last year must have been totally different from this, with his old home and his mom and dad. But now he was here, with you and Shiloh and Lizzie and everyone else, and he couldn't even go into the sea. In the sea. I know how to read, I swear. This town wasn't bad, it had all your favorite things in it, but sitting there on the same beach you'd grown up on, you could understand that not everyone else felt the same way about Sunset Bird as you did. You watched him from the corner of your eye quietly, and he finally said out loud what you had been pondering. I wish I could go in. The water? Yeah.
Oh.
I'm sorry, you're gonna be able to do it soon. Cove only sighed in response. Apparently soon wasn't soon enough. It's so pretty, the ocean. And huge. There could be anything out there, like mermaids.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish you didn't have the cast. I don't really care. Swimming might be fun if we could. I'm fine here on land. Mermaids aren't real. What on ill person? Let's believe in mermaids. I don't like any of the options. But, sure. Me too. Obviously not interested in hearing much more of your input on the situation, Cove turned back to the water. But as he looked away, something about Shiloh's slow, careful movements caught his eye. Hey, are you building a sandcastle? Sort of. I was only playing around while you were talking. I'm listening. Maybe I could too. I've only made big piles before. Same. No, granted, I have made a couple sandcastles in the past. None of them very good, but sandcastles nonetheless. Fun fact, canonically, if Cove was a mermaid, he would dream about living in the sky. Nice. That's a cool fun fact. It's really nothing special. I'm sure you'll be good at it right away. Well, how do you do it then? Shiloh's cheeks lit up. You could tell he was a little bit uncomfortable to have Cove's expectant stare on him. I'll play too. I love making sand stuff. I've never really made one before. There's nothing else to do. I love making sand stuff. He puts his hands back to his seashells and sand and nodded. I don't do a lot. Here's how I'd like to get a house started. Shiloh, focusing more intently than you'd ever seen him, guided Cove through his process. You happily used your own method. It didn't take long for the three of you to each have humble structures prepared. That's all, kind of. You can do anything now, like make it bigger, add some seashells, carve a pretty pattern. I bet you'll have great ideas.
Okay.
I'm gonna make it bigger. Mine's gonna be a real castle.
Cool.
This is gonna be a house. Looking at the base of your sandcastle, you decided to make a house, a castle, a mansion! Yes. Looking at the base of your sandcastle, you decided to do what Lizzie would do and design a mansion. The better part of the next hour is spent focusing on your work. The boys were the same. Even Shiloh didn't sneak as many peeks at everyone else as he usually did. Kale. You finished shaping before either of them did, glancing up from what you'd built. It seems you got done so fast because they already searched around for extra decorations. Shiloh had grabbed most of the really interesting stuff, and Cove had a lot of the shells, but there were still options. The first thing you reached for was a red ball cap, blue seashell, green piece of sea glass. Let's get the sea glass. It was the best fit for your mansion, you decided. It was see-through and sparkly. So you tucked it away somewhere secure inside, while barely poking out to make sure it didn't get lost. Pleased with your result, you finally took a proper look around that wasn't focused on the sand itself. Both Cove and Shiloh seemed super immersed still. You knew you could probably sneak a peek at either one's work. You checked out Cove's sandcastle, you checked out Shiloh's sandhouse, you decided not to look. We won't ruin the surprise. You instead watched some clouds go by. Sea glass always looks like you're supposed to lick it. True. True that. But, like, there's a lot of things that look like they should be edible and then aren't. Like, you're not supposed to lick them. Because sea glass looks like candy. Is want to go lick sea glass together? Yes! Let's go lick sea glass. I think it's the safest option out of things that have glass in them, that, like the word glass in them, that I could lick. Because the other option in my mind of something that contains the word glass in it is you know when you blow glass? You know glass blowers, and when they blow glass and they stretch it, it looks like candy, but it's boiling hot. But it looks so lickable. It looks like taffy or something. It looks like something I want to eat. There's a Netflix reality competition show about not glass eaters. That would be an extreme sport. About glass blowers, and during the entire time I was like, why does that look so good? So I get a show. Hey Queen, do you want to start a reality competition show about people who eat glass? I was thinking about eating glass so much that it just came out that way. Yes, cool. The silence was then broken. What's on the top of yours, Shiloh? You peeked closer and discovered something shiny sticking out of Shiloh's sand chimney. Oh, it's just some gum wrapper. It looks like smoke. Creative.
Neat.
It's good. That's smart. Yeah, I didn't think of that. I guess I don't see it. You should be an architect. Kind of looks like more like a worm. Yeah, I didn't think of that. You really know a lot about this. Shiloh smiled without a word. And that was that for the current topic. Ace, can I see what you did? Sure. He scooted just a bit nearer and began surveying your work. All you really knew about mansions was that they were supposed to be big, so you'd gone really big. Now, unfortunately, Dave had to leave the show last episode. The paramedics have informed us that he will not be back. And then it cuts to a clip of the paramedic speaking about Dave's condition. And then a fun fact appears on the corner about the nature of glass eating. About how it originated because of some ancient ritual or something. I don't know. Some cool story. All you really knew about mansions was that they were supposed to be really big, so you'd gone really big. It was the size of the country club that Lizzie played golf at, compared to Cove and Shiloh's buildings, probably even bigger. Shiloh quickly decided to jump in the new conversation. Hey Ace, what did you do? Fun fact! Dave now eats through a straw in his stomach. This is a great idea. How has nobody thought of this before? I made a mansion. Go skulked for a moment. Apparently the anger was actually still there after his argument with Lizzie more than a week ago. It looks great. Your house is so big. It's not a big house, it's a mansion. I guess mansions are just really big houses. Thanks. You just looked at him. I guess mansions are just really big houses. Huh? Is being a house bad?
No.
No, but we each made our own space. Nobody's the same. I think we are. Cove raised an eyebrow at that. If something is the only one of that thing, that makes it special. Yeah, for sandcastles and stuff. People too. My dad always says how everybody is their own man, a real individual. I don't think I'm very special.
Why?
Why not? Nobody else is you. Shiloh simply shook his head. I'm not different. A beat passed between the two. Cove then looked down at his own work again. Okay. He didn't seem to be bothered leaving the disagreement hanging there. Cove had other things on his mind. My dad tried to get me to make sandcastles the first time we came to this beach. I didn't want to. Cove trailed off. Again, there was another moment of silence. Shiloh shifted and opened his mouth to say something, but Cove spoke up before he could. You didn't think he noticed that Shiloh was going to talk. Hey, do you know what happened when your moms met my daddies? You blinked, not expecting the question. You thought hard. I wasn't there. They didn't tell me. I just remembered what happened when I met your dad. Mr. Holden had been a weird stranger then. Well, he was still kind of strange. No other parent acted like him, but you knew him better at this point. Now that you thought about it, it made a lot of sense that Cove's dad talked to him about people being unique. You were pulled from your thoughts when Cove continued.
Oh.
Well, I was there. I don't think my mom has met your dad. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she hasn't. Ace's parents and my dad met the same day I met them. I'm gonna say what happened. Shiloh frowned to himself, ducking his head. His hat cast a shadow over his face. You could still tell he was upset at not being included in Cove's choice of topic. That was kind of boring for him, though giving people their own turn to say the things they want is important too. You stayed silent and let Cove finish the story. I think Shiloh wants to talk too. Nah, let's just let him. Shiloh could talk about stuff after Cove had a chance to share what he planned on. When we moved here, we didn't bring a lot of things with us. Only some stuff that would fit in Dad's car. We didn't even get a moving truck. I sat in there while Dad brought it all inside. I didn't want to get out because I knew Dad would make me look around the new house. I really didn't want to do that. His lips twisted into a frown as he recalled that. Then I saw your moms. They were in a car too and stopped at your house. I guess they were coming back from somewhere or something. My dad noticed. He waved his hand, then went over to the front of your house where he started talking to them. I don't know what they said. I couldn't hear it. But he couldn't see me anymore since he was looking the other way. So I opened the car door and left. I wanted to get away and went behind the houses. I found those hills there, the ones where we met for the first time. Cove nodded, then stared at you. You stared back. He didn't go on to say anything more. Is that it? Cove's brow wrinkled, like he didn't understand why you were surprised.
Huh?
That's all that happened. Okay, why did you want to tell the story if nothing happened? You really gotta get better at telling stories. This is a pretty bad story. Thanks for telling me. You're welcome. Validation. Even if not much happened, you weren't going to complain about knowing the story. Shiloh's mouth twisted into a scowl of disbelief, but he said nothing. Why'd you bring that up anyway? There was a slight shrug of Cove's shoulders.
Well...
I was thinking about it because of the sandcastle. It made me remember when I moved to here. Dad showed me the beach first before we went back to the car to unpack. He was really excited about it for some reason. Cove's brows furrowed a little more as he quietly raked his hand through the sand. I get it. You thought maybe Mr. Holden wasn't that excited about the beach and was instead hoping Cove might be. But the line of conversation had come to its end. Even Cove was done with it. Some other topic had popped into his head. Shiloh fidgeting uncomfortably in the sand had made Cove aware of his presence again. They looked at each other and you could only wonder what this might be about. Hey, Shiloh? Yeah? Why are you always turning red, even when nothing's happening? Clearly startled, he jerked back. Neither you or Shiloh had expected that to be how he got included in the conversation again. I don't know, I guess. Okay, it's kind of weird. Shiloh's eyes were wide with embarrassment and his lips twitched, and he was blushing even harder than before. Maybe it wasn't only this. Perhaps it was simply the last straw, but it was a big deal to Shiloh. A huge deal. He didn't just look sad, he seemed almost panicked. You weren't sure if he was about to cry or run away or what, but you soon got an answer. Why do you wear glasses? Most kids don't wear glasses and nobody's named Cove.
Who asked you to come?
Thank you for saying the line. It was probably just your dad bugging Ace's family some more because you don't have anyone who'll ever play with you. Cove blinked. The tension on the beach was suddenly uncomfortable in a way you didn't know how to even mention. Yeah, same. It didn't seem like the kind of thing he'd get upset about, though you hadn't ever known what kind of thing would bother Shiloh. I'm sorry. Me too. I was just wondering. Let's build another sandcastle. You try to play on your own. Are we gonna build more? You nervously mess with the sand. Hey, let's build another sandcastle. Welcome to Let's switch the topic real fast. The day's gonna be over soon. Ah, Ace, you're right. The sun is going down so fast. You all went back to making more sand buildings, but the whole mood had changed. Shiloh's cheeriness was clearly gone, and Cove looked as confused as ever about why the other boy had blown up. The air stayed uncomfortable the rest of the afternoon, right up to the moment that Shiloh's mom appeared at the beach to take him home. At least you tried to do something to resolve it, though, and it seemed like it helped. Even though Shiloh's smile when he said goodbye to Cove wavered, it stayed as bright as ever for you. That had to count for something. But with Shiloh gone and the sun going down, you knew it was time for you and Cove to head to your own houses. You followed him as he made his way out of the sand. The walk home was quiet. You passed by familiar landmarks, shoes thumping against the sidewalk in near perfect unison. Cove was clearly caught up in thinking about something. You asked Cove what he's thinking. The prospect of asking made you nervous, but you did it anyway. Hey, is everything, okay?
Oh.
I was just wondering. Cole fell silent again for a few more seconds, then sighed. Why did Shiloh act like that when I said he was all red a lot? You're being rude to him. He's just being a baby. You shouldn't make fun of him. I don't know, it's just Shiloh. He gets embarrassed. You shrugged at Cove with no answer to give. I would say it's this, but it could also be that he interpreted it this way. Like, I can't get into a fictional character's head. I also can't get into anyone's head. Or maybe I can. So, like, won't know for sure, but if I had to assume it's something that he's relatively sensitive about. And it kind of picked a nerve. And, yeah. That's what I would guess. So, I think I would just go with that. Because that's the closest to the explanation in my mind. Because I also don't... Because, yeah. Varys, but I didn't say anything that bad. It might have upset him anyway? I guess. I can get it. Why he would do that. Sometimes I get really mad, too. Despite seemingly coming to a conclusion, Cove's mood was still sour. Hey, Ace, was Shiloh telling the truth? Huh? His gaze left yours as he dug the sole of his shoe into the ground. He looked oddly vulnerable for a second. Does my dad make you hang out with me? I know he talks to your moms about that a lot. An uncomfortable weight settled in your chest at the question. You liked spending time with Cove. You didn't even have to think hard about it. You knew you did. But you couldn't help feeling guilty. Cove still didn't know what happened when you met Mr. Holden. Nobody's making me spend time with you. Your dad does do stuff so you'll hang out with my family, but Shiloh shouldn't have said that. You decided to tell him about how his dad offered you money. Welcome to the truth is always the correct choice in these types of games. Because otherwise, it'll just show up eventually other time. So it's better if he hears it from me than if he finds out in another way. Welcome to the sad moment. It's sad boy hours. But the truth is always the best in these types of games. Because it's better if he hears it from me than he hears it from another person or in a worse time. And there's no good time to mention stuff like this. But this is not the worst time to mention this. So, here we go. Sad boy hours. It's sad time. Well, remember how you talked about how our parents met and I didn't know what happened? Yeah? I kind of had something happen that you don't know about when I met your dad. As you struggled to find the right words, Cove looked at you passively. Yes, how do you go about explaining this, you know? You wilted under his gaze, breaking eye contact. You stared at the ground. I was walking home and your dad was sitting in front of the house. It must have been after you ran away. My mums weren't there either. I think they were looking for you. Your dad saw me. He got up and came over. Mr. Holden told me that he just moved into the house next to mine. You snuck a look at Cove. He was still listening, his expression as plain as before. You paused for a moment, wondering if you should really keep going. Yes! Tell the full story! The truth! Even if it was supposed to be a secret, you thought Cove should still know. Your dad wanted you to have a friend, so he offered me money. $20. Cove was so still, you thought he hadn't heard you. Then his eyes widened, his mouth felt open, but no sound left him. Silence stretched between you, so tense that it was almost tangible. You shifted from one foot to another, and your hands tensed up. Cove? Instead of speaking, he closed his mouth, his eyebrows bent up, crinkling his forehead. He looked more sad than surprised now. He was gonna cry. You were certain of it. I didn't take it! The money! I didn't want it. Honest. Cove raised his hands and brought them up under his glasses. His fingers pressed over his eyes, hiding them from your sight. Then, right in the middle of the street, the tears began to fall. His shoulders shook with the force of his sobs. You could glimpse wetness through the cracks of his fingers slipping down his cheeks. You opened your mouth, but you had no idea what to say. You stepped closer, you placed your hand on his head, you touched his shoulder, you stayed by him. I don't know what to do. I wish I remembered what I chose last time. But I can't. I really can't. I'm overthinking the game. I'm between this and this. Because I feel like this is too... Like, this I don't know. I feel like we're overstepping there. So I... Damn it. You couldn't go anywhere with Cove in this state. But Cove shook his body from side to side, rejecting your presence.
No.
Go away. He flinched at the shout, which I didn't really shout, because I'm feeling upset. As you stood there listening to him cry, you felt uncomfortable over the scene he was making, concerned for him, regret for telling him about everything. Concerned for him. You didn't want Cove to be this upset, you just wanted to be honest. Cove continued to weep with his face covered by his hands. Worse, his voice raised in volume. You were frozen in place. The situation was awful, and you kept feeling worse every second. Realistic. Let me be real. Let me do a heart-to-heart here. I would absolutely start crying, most likely. I can't, for the life of me, watch people cry. Because I get emotional as well. So I would at least get teary-eyed. But I would like to be some form of comfort. How are you all? Doing good. I ate ice cream a while ago, and it was really good. Also, hello. I ate ice cream a little bit ago, and that was awesome. That's why you couldn't be a villain. Yes, I know! Also same, yeah, I can't watch people cry. Should I go as realistic as possible and just say that I started crying as well? Because that's the most realistic thing that would actually happen in this situation. I would also just start crying. Sure. Let's stick to what let's stick to what would actually happen. You didn't know what to do to stop Cove from crying. You began to panic. Accurate. Before you realized it, your eyes were misting over. Then you were crying with him. You couldn't stop. Accurate. You heard a door opening and you flinched, expecting to see one of the mean old grandparents preparing themselves to yell at you, which would be the worst thing that could happen right now. Literally. At this hour, most people weren't around, either because they were working or down in the town, but the grandparents rarely left the house, except to complain at children making noise in the street. You didn't want Coat to have to deal with that right now. You tried to come up with something you could do for him, for the situation, for anything. But the door that stood open now didn't belong to the grandparents. To your utter surprise and relief, it was Cove's own. His dad was already home. Shock. As he peeked out his door, Mr. Holden momentarily looked unsure. Perhaps he had suspicions on the noise outside, but wasn't entirely positive, though a kid crying is pretty distinct and there aren't a lot of kids. Hydrating. Which is a good call, because usually by this time I would probably have my water bottle almost finished, but I don't because I had the ice cream. And while I was having the ice cream, I wasn't really drinking water because I was eating ice cream. Maybe he didn't want to believe something might be wrong with his son. His face fell as he spotted the source of the commotion. It was pained and it was scared, and it reminded you of the one he'd worn the first night you'd met Cove. I don't know how to read. Mr. Holden didn't go down the steps in front of his house. He just jumped right over them and stumbled into a run. He skipped to a stop before Cove, bent down on one knee, and then solidly cupped Cove's teary face with his hands.
What's wrong?
Are you hurt anywhere? Cove continued to cry, unable or unwilling to cough out an explanation. Not taking his hand from Cove, Mr. Holden turned to you for an explanation, his eyes wide and imploring. He wanted to know if you tried to make me hang out with him. I told him about the money. As you spoke, Mr. Holden's chest rose while he inhaled a deep, shaky breath, culminating in a gasp at your final words.
What?
'Cause the truth! Why would you? He clamped his mouth shut, shaking his head. He faced his crying son again. No, it's my fault. I shouldn't have done something like that in the first place. He cast his eyes down, sighing. When he next spoke, it wasn't part of the conversation anymore. It was barely loud enough for you to catch his words. It's only a kid. Tears were still streaming down Cove's face, smiling sadly. Mr. Holden wiped Cove's cheeks with a thumb. He furrowed his brows and looked at the ground. When he next glanced up, his mouth was set with determination. Mr. Holden finally took his hands off Cove. He reached over his wallet, confused. Confused, you stared at the little rectangle that all adults seem to carry in some shape or form. It had been the source of all these problems. You were sure that Cove wouldn't want to be reminded of it right now. Mr. Holden was clearly of a different mind to you. He inexplicably retrieved another $20 bill, rolled it up, and raised it to Cove's face. Here's where there's a wonderful clip of the first time I went through this scene. and where I panicked that this was gonna be the worst conversation in the world, and then it got better, and then it got better. But there was a moment of panic, and that's clipped. Cove's eyes were hidden behind tightly clamped fingers, so Mr. Holden poked Cove's nose with the bill. Cove peeked between his hands and grunted as he saw what he had been prodded with. Even if it was surrounded by saws, you were glad that something else had finally left Cove's mouth.
Come on.
Hey, Cove, can you stop crying? I'll give you this cash if you do. Here's where that clip happened. But bear! It gets better! Cove dropped his hands from his face. It had already been red and wet with tears, but now his features were scrunched up in a scowl. Not for the first time, you questioned Mr. Holden's tactics. Yes. He had to use 2 hands, but Cove firmly shoved his dad's own hand away. But Mr. Holden just chuckled at Cove's reaction and tossed the money aside. It unfurled as it flew through the air, rising before slowly drifting to the floor. Art. Mr. Holden took Cove's outstretched wrist and lowered them to Cove's sides, stopping him from hiding his face once again. Cove's dad clearly wasn't going to let go. Huffing, Cove turned his whole head away, tears continuing to roll down his cheeks as he glowered at the ground. You can buy a lot of cool things with that, but it can't do everything, can it? Cove didn't respond, not even to look at his father. Mr. Holden continued. Your old dad likes to make things nice for you with the money he earns, but you're smart. You know that I haven't really done anything.
I'm sorry.
I still make you sad and upset, just like right now. I'm sorry. Cove sniffled, the harsh line of his brow mellowing. Mr. Holden squeezed Cove's hands as he continued. He's smart too, right? Mr. Holden spoke in a soft, encouraging tone, and Cove continued to calm. You have nothing to worry about. Except for me. Mr. Holden chuckled. Cove pressed his lips together, mulling over his father's words. Though the stream of tears had eased, drops still butted in his eyes and threatened to spill out. I love you, son, so much, more than anybody else. Sometimes that makes me a little too hasty to see you happy, and I make it all worse. I really am sorry. Scrunching his eyes tight, Cove nodded. When his eyes opened again, they were red and glossy, but there were no tears left on the precipice of his lower lashes. Aside from the occasional sniff, he was mostly back to his usual self. He swallowed.
Okay.
Though Cove had refused to echo Mr. Holden's exact words, the sentiment seemed to be enough for his dad. He moved his hands up under Cove's armpits and hoisted Cove high into the air with a grin. Cove's hands flew to his glasses, holding them back from falling off. Cove's lips were shut tight, all betrayed by the telltale smile in his eyes that he was trying hard to hide. Mr. Holden laughed, lowering Cove so he was securely pinned against his chest. Cove looked away, face angled to the ground. Now that his dad could no longer see him, he was allowing himself a smile. Mr. Holden might have missed it, but you didn't. Cove wriggled, pushing a hand against his dad's shoulders. Can I go back down now?
Yeah.
Mr. Holden set Cove gently on the ground, waiting until his feet found their footing before releasing him entirely. I have to do something. Wait here. As Cove wandered away, Mr. Holden's gaze stuck to him like glue. You sighed, eyes downcast. You felt weird that you'd only been able to stand there while the event unfolded. You weren't able to fix it. I couldn't do anything. Don't worry about it, please. We don't need another tragedy today. He winked, and you weren't impressed. Hey, I mean that. The first part, anyway. There's only so much you can do to try to fix someone else's mistake. He smiled sincerely at you. You've done plenty for Cove. Just the fact that you were honest with him when his own dad wasn't proves it.
That's a relief.
Thanks for being such a good kid. I hope you'll keep spending time with the boy. I got a little... maybe you could tell by the way my tone shifted. Because I definitely noticed how I was reading differently. But, I started feeling things just now. I got a little emotional there. Even though if I already knew this was gonna happen, it's fine. Oh, this game. As though the sound of his name summoned him, Cove returned, clutching the veil his dad had cast aside earlier. You cocked your head, and Cove's dad raised his eyebrow. Cove looked at the crumpled note, then walked over and held it out to you. I stopped crying, but I don't want this. You can have it. He gave you a small smile. Behind him, Mr. Holden was still watching Cove closely, clearly relieved. You shared the feeling. Cove was making peace with the deal that happened behind his back. I decided to take it. You decided not to take it. We're still not taking the 20. And we're not taking the 20. Shaking your head, you push the note back to Cove. I don't need it. But I don't want it. You are at a stalemate. Mr. Holden hummed thoughtfully, tapping his head. He gazed up at the wide sky as he pretended to give the conundrum serious consideration. I know. He plucked the bill from Cove and tore it right in two. You and Cove gasped in unison. Dad, we can't do anything with it now. True, it won't work at the store like this, but now you can split it. Crouching down, he held out the pieces to you and Cove. You both looked at the two halves. Neither of you reached for them. It still has value, as a keepsake, a memory, and that's one of the most valuable things you can use money on.
So...
That sounds pretty good, huh? Maybe I'm getting smarter. Wordlessly, Cove stretched out a hand and took his half. You took yours, running a finger along the jagged edge of the bill. It was cool to think that no other note would share this exact same feature, the precise peaks and throws of the tear, except for Cove's, which would bear them in reverse. It did feel like there was value left in it. It's our version of those, you know the necklaces and the bracelets that like have little magnets and join up? It's our weird version of that. Zerolden stood up, stretching his arms out casually. Well then, it's about time for dinner. Me and the Ruckrat need to be going in. You probably should too. I bet your mom's want to see you. All right.
Bye.
Thanks very much.
Have a good night, and thanks, Ace. Father and son waved at you as you turned and dashed back home, the note clenched tightly in your hand. You felt lighter. Just claim it's $10 and gaslight the cashier into thinking that's how money works. I don't know how well that would work. I don't know how well that would work. I don't know if that would work at all, basically. I don't know if that would work at all. But we could definitely try. I wouldn't be opposed. You know how I say that I don't like playing games 2 days in a row? I kind of want to leave it here and play more tomorrow. Or actually, I don't know if tomorrow I'll be able to stream because tomorrow I might be going to the cinema. I might finally be watching Thor tomorrow. But like Friday otherwise. See, I actually said something in advance. You know how I said, but yeah, I say a lot of times that I don't like doing the same thing 2 days in a row. But now that I've started, I don't want to stop. Depends on how good you are at gaslighting. True. It could potentially work, I guess. Though I think everyone else at the store would be very upset if you held up the line to try to convince to try to gaslight the cashier into thinking that a half cut $20 bill could count as $10. But I guess it would be worth it. Potentially. Go with a group that's involved in it. No. Here's the plan. You convince a bunch of people to help you out with this. Okay? And you get them all going to the same store at the same time, at the same day. So they're all like, not at the same time. Maybe they come in a little earlier, a little before, whatever. And then they're all there. So most of the people at the store would be people involved in your plan. And then when you start the debate with the cashier, ask one of them randomly and they back you up. And then when people start backing you up, you just confuse the living hell out of the cashier. And maybe that would work. Just have people claim that they paid for dinner like that last night. Could potentially work. It could potentially work. Also, I like my plan of leaving it here and then coming back next stream. Damn, am I doing our live streams in a row? Maybe. Probably. Damn it, this game! I can't play this is why I can't play visual novels. Cause then I fall right back in. Oh, this game is so good. Hey, sounds like a plan. Yeah. Let me go to the just a moment real quick while I save and close the game so that the stream will run at an incredible capacity now. Save. There we go. And quit. Yes, quit the game. Boop. There we go. That to me sounds like a great plan. Look at how smooth everything runs. There it is. There's the beauty. Anyway, this was fun. I did not for a stream that had no plan at the beginning. It was very fun to go through it. To go through it this way. So eating ice cream, playing our life for a stream that had no plan. It was a lot of fun. And I have to thank all for that. So, yes. I might not be able to stream tomorrow because depends on what time I go to the cinema. Because in theory, I'm going to the cinema tomorrow to watch Thor finally. You'd be glad to know that I have been avoiding spoilers like the plague. I've been literally avoiding spoilers like the plague. I have no idea how, because I'll get stuff on TikTok and then quickly scroll away. And I know nothing about it. So so you'll be glad to know that it's been going well so far. So I just have to make it one more day, in theory. So yes, so if I don't stream tomorrow, that's why. Saturday I won't be able to stream either. I have a party. But I'll remind that on Friday, because Friday for sure I'll be here. I'll be here Friday. So yes. Sleep well and dream of scamming everyone and have fun at the cinema watching Thor. I can only hope this time they include the best myth. Okay. Good night, chat. Have a great rest of your day. Have a good night as well. And have a great day tomorrow. And if we do talk tomorrow, that's great. And if we don't, just know that I'm right there wishing you a great day. Alrighty? Alrighty. Let's find an ending song. Rubinade sounds good today. Why not? Oh, vibing. Good night. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great day tomorrow. See you around, as always. Bye!